Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monique, and if you're new to this channel, I upload videos weekly about style, travel, and NYC vlogs. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you like to take the time and subscribe. For today's video, we're gonna have tea time, and I'm gonna share my opinion, which no one asked for, while sipping on this tea, but maybe a little bit later because it's really hot. Basically, I just want to discuss about two items that are going viral at the moment. The first thing that I want to discuss about is Lydia Elise Millen about selling all her handbags, including her Hermès bags and her Chanel bags, because her lifestyle changed, and also because she feels that England, or London specifically, is just not safe anymore for her to carry those bags anymore, which is understandable because we have heard many of these news and stories about, you know, people getting robbed in big cities like London, even New York, even San Francisco. So living in a city like New York, I totally understand how she feels about safety and carrying those kind of bags. You know, especially with social media nowadays, it's just going crazy. Everybody and their mother knows what a Birkin bag is, what a Kelly bag is, what an Hermes bag is, and how they look like. So it's kind of like whenever you are walking around with a Birkin bag, you feel like you're a target. Especially you hear so many stories about, you know, people getting robbed or people getting attacked, and you do want to avoid that. Yes, being in the city, I also try to avoid that. I can't deny it. It is a very different place nowadays, especially with the economy and the state of the world nowadays. I don't want to dwell into it, but I do feel it because I used to be able to take the subway every day, all day long, anywhere, and it was very safe. I mean, of course, we have people with mental illness all the time, even back in the day, but it was more like still borderline funny and very mild. They would not attack people. But now we have people, a lot of people with like mental problems, and they do tend to be more aggressive for some reason, that they tend to attack other people. With the economy being difficult, more robbery has happened. So totally understandable, because you can't even go into a CVS now and get a toothpaste on your own. You really have to press the bell for somebody to help you in order to get a toothpaste or shower gel, because people keep stealing them. So that is the state of the world that we are living in. I do understand to a point her concern. Also in Europe, you hear a lot about influencers in Paris. I don't know about London, but I've heard a few in Paris, like Tamara and other people, having burglars coming into their houses and stealing their stuff, and it is very unsafe. Even in Beverly Hills, like Dorit and Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they've had their house burglarized and have all their belongings stolen from them. So it is something that happens. In New York, it is a little bit safer if you live in a building with a doorman. It is not 100%, of course, but it kind of gives you that extra level of security. Again, to say that I do understand her concern about safety when she's out and about in London, and that is the only place that she can carry her bag, and also housing those bags in her own home and afraid burglars might come and steal those. But I must say, one thing that I can't really relate is how extreme it has to be. People lately, like Nikki Sky, have taken it to the extremes, like, oh, my lifestyle has changed, I have to get rid of everything. You know, which is understandable for some people, but not everyone can afford to just like sell all their bags and maybe build up their collection again in the next 10 years when they change their mind. For me, when I purchase bags like Birkins or Kelly or Chanel bags, it's a lifetime investment, and it's something that I would like to keep for the next 20-30 years of my life. And granted, yeah, maybe this year or the next 5 years or the next 3 years, it's not like the best time to be carrying those bags. Maybe in 1 year, I'm probably just going to carry them like less than 10 times. But I look at it as like a long-term investment. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but what if in 5 years I want them? And these are the bags that also last, that are supposed to last like 20, 30, 40 years of your life. For me, it's not an investment that it will appreciate in value, which obviously they do every year, but when you wear them, you know, it doesn't really appreciate that much anyway. But for me, it is an investment of like, that is my forever collection that I will have for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Yes, that might be very, very expensive, but also it's something that I will keep forever, something that I don't have to keep buying bags every year, although I do, but the kind of bags are the kind of bags that I would buy and then sell if I buy another bag, you know, next year. So there are some bags that I consider as my core collections. It's something that I want to keep forever. I don't want to spend the money anymore in the future because the price just keeps going up. So I'm happy to have those bags in my collection. If I have to let them go, it's because, you know, I really need money desperately for something urgent or an emergency. But it's not something like because my lifestyle has changed, you know, because we constantly change. Like, I try not to take any drastic moves. I know that maybe now I wake up, sometimes I have this idea that I want to be a minimalist and I don't want to have like more than 3 bags in my life, and I started selling all the bags too. And in 3-5 years I changed my mind again and I want to have, you know, those bags in my life again. It's going to be a little bit too late, because by then, you know, I maybe would not be able to afford it, or I just don't want to spend the money on that because it's just too high. So for me personally, I try to avoid making drastic choices, life choices, unless it's for something, an urgent thing or emergency, which I get, you know, I get it, you know. Safety is definitely something that is urgent, and it is like, definitely having less in your life is something that would make your life easier to go about it. Because, you know, I also, for one, have moved from one country to another, and I know having a lot of things, it's not easy to move from one country to another. My point is that I understand her point of view, but it's just difficult for me to relate. And I do appreciate people who can relate to that situation, and then to each their own, I guess. For people who want to keep their bags, keep your bags, and people who want to sell their bags, sell your bags. Those are just bags and they're your bags. You could do whatever you want with them. One thing that I find similar with the Nikki Sky video is that also Lydia Elise Millen is going to come up with her own line of bags in collaboration with a company. So it's kind of like, is it a part of a marketing strategy or is it genuine? Sometimes it can be difficult to differentiate in the whole influencer era, because sometimes, are you really recommending something, a skincare or product, because you love it or because it is a brand collaboration? So that is just my question, and I'm sure a lot of people have the same question. But again, that is her life, that's her choice. She could do whatever she wants with her bag, and I wish her the best. And the second thing that I would like to discuss for today is the TikTok viral video of Monica, which is a customer that purchased the Alhambra bracelet from Van Cleef, and then in 2 months it started tarnishing. So Van Cleef has all their jewelry in 18 karat gold. If you're not familiar with gold, gold is the purest form of gold is 24 karat, and 18 karat, that means the remaining 6 karat is another alloy. So it's something that they mix with the gold. So it is not 24 karat pure gold, but it's still solid gold. But usually they would mix it with like copper or silver, depending on like the type of gold that you want. That is why you see a yellow gold in Cartier might be a different a different shade of yellow gold than the one in Van Cleef and Arpels. So every company usually would have their own alloy, and it's something that a lot of companies like to develop on their own so that they have that unique color to themselves. Things like rose gold or beige gold from Chanel fine jewelry, so it's like an alloy that they develop themselves in their company, which is unique to their brand. The thing that I don't understand is how in 2 months that bracelet is already tarnished. You know, as much as perfume you can spray on it on the daily basis, I don't think it should tarnish in 2 months. I have a lot of antique jewelry, I have a lot of vintage jewelry, I have some designer jewelry as well, and I try not to spray perfume directly onto my jewelry, but it does happen, and I've had them for years, and some of the antique jewelry, they're like more than 100 years, and nothing like that has ever happened to me. And the biggest thing of it is the way the company handled the problem was really unfortunate, because they were blaming her about the whole things, you know, like, did you spray perfume, did you put lotion? You know, it's 2 months. No matter what the amount of perfume that she sprays onto that necklace, onto that bracelet, it should not tarnish like that. They should take it, try to solve the problem, try to fix it, and not trying to charge her for polishing the bracelet that she just bought 2 months ago. And better yet, they should offer a refund if she wanted to, and not, you know, blaming it on her and calling her on the phone stating, oh, I'm the manager of this store. And when it becomes viral, they finally refunded her. You know, this is just not good practice from Van Cleef. I haven't purchased anything from Van Cleef, but back in the day, I remember like 10 years ago, I used to love the design of their Alhambra bracelets, and it was on my wish list, but it's just something that I could not get into it yet. And then by the time I could, it was a little bit too viral. I just lost interest. I still think it's really beautiful design, but yeah, I have other things on my wish list at the moment. So it is very unfortunate the way they handle the situation. I've only been into a Van Cleef store once or twice, and I do get that their vibe is definitely different than if you go to Cartier. And it is definitely, and even though both companies are managed by the same parent company, which is Richemont, they definitely have their own way, different way of handling things with their customers. Because whenever I step into Cartier, I always feel welcome. People are always really nice. The SA spends time with you. The SA would never pressure you, and open to any question, and you can try on anything. Okay guys, I'm so sorry, but I have to use my phone because my battery went dead and I have to run outside. I can't wait for it to I can't wait for it to charge. But I just want to close on this video that it is such unfortunate the way that they handled the problem, and lucky for her that everything went viral and that she was able to get refunded on the bracelet. But definitely this case left such a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, and yeah, it's unfortunate for their brand. So they should have handled it better. The store should have handled it better. The manager should handle it better. The whole experience definitely do not encourage me to get anything from the store. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the whole situation. I would love to know. I hope you enjoyed today's video. These are just my opinions. These are my opinions, which I know no one asked for. It's just fun to talk about them. Please like this video if you like it. I'll see you on my next one. Thank you so much for watching.